Everyone. This will be my 6-month review of Snowball Analytics. So this is a portfolio tracker. I use it to mostly track my dividends, gives you payment dates, gives you payment amounts. It has, a search icon up here at the top. So any of the ETFs that you want, even some of the US ones, if you want yield max, they've got Y max, they've got all the different individual stocks you can search from, as well as ETFs, Canadian and American. They pretty much have everything. And they do have a free version. So you get 10 holdings with a free version. You can download it on the App Store. You can also just search it on Google, Snowball Analytics. And the desktop version actually is a little bit better because there's like public portfolios and stuff like that you can see. I think it's kind of similar to Blossom that way. I haven't used Blossom, but I've been hearing that's pretty good. So this is my second different app that I've been using to track my portfolio, and maybe I'll try Blossom. It might even be better than this, but this is just my review. I'll talk about the things I like and the things that I don't like, in case any of you guys watching are interested in trying out Snowball Analytics. Like I said, it's free, not sponsored or anything like that, but I think it's a pretty good tool to track your portfolio, aside from what your brokerage might offer. So you got your top day gainers, your top day losers. This is just the iOS app that you're seeing here. You get to see your dividends received over the last few months. You've got some upcoming events for payouts. And then you can see a dividend growth chart for the year. So I've been tracking for about 5-6 months now on this app. Before this, I was using a different app to track my dividends. And then you have a little box down here with a goal. So you can set a goal for yourself, and it'll kind of give you an estimate based on if you're dripping your dividends and how much extra contributions that you're adding. So this is the main page here when you sign in, and you can see your portfolio value, total profit of the day, and your percentage of yield for passive income and yearly amount. Next up, they've got the analytics bar. So this will be where you can benchmark your portfolio. I benchmark mine against the S&P 500, but there's different ones you can choose from, NASDAQ, Russell, and a bunch of other different ones in the world. And then you can kind of scroll out, see how your portfolio is doing against your benchmark. And then they've got a profits tab, so you can see how your portfolio is stacked up month to month. And then diversification, like I said, it's a little bit better to see these ones on the desktop, but you can just kind of get an idea here of how it looks. And so like it's got my biggest holding with USCL is 23% of my portfolio. HHIS is close to 18%, HYLD 14%, et cetera. And so there's a few things here. Then you can group it either by assets or by income. So income, so HHIS is 30% of my income. USCL is 21.6 versus the asset diversification. So that's kind of nice. You can see all those things. And then you can see a little bit more down here, total profit, your daily gains, capital gains, your dividends, and then you get to see your yield and yield on cost, which is nice because, your yield on cost is pretty important, as well as you hopefully get some natural dividend growth in whatever holdings you have. And this is kind of my main reason I use this app is the dividend calendar. It's just a nice way to track your dividends, but there's a couple of things I like and I don't like about this. It's nice because it's pretty accurate, like the days and all of that is accurate, but you'll notice here it'll give you your declared, your ex-dividend date, and then your payment date. And then once you get paid, you'll mark it as received. I'm not going to do that yet. And then it'll tell you the current yield of the fund. But you'll notice that right underneath where it says the 1369, it's showing 24 cents. It's actually 24.5 cents. But the interesting thing is that 1369 is pretty much spot on. So I think there's something maybe running in the background or something in the background of the app. They can't show it down to the nearest half a cent. They probably just have to round it up to the nearest penny. Same thing with HYLD. I think it's 1470 or something. It's showing 15, but it's pretty accurate. So that's really nice. Like I said, it shows the declaration, the ex-dividend, and the payment date, as well as the yields and the amounts. But there's some funds that I've noticed, like C-Day, for example, it pays twice a month, but it's showing on here now. But like the first month or so it came out, it was all over the place because it couldn't figure out it was paying twice a month. Now it's showing bi-monthly. But I have one ETF that it's not even showing anymore, which is the Global X Bitcoin covered call. And so it shows, the dividends here, but when you go to the calendar, it's completely missing. And some of these new twice a month payers, I think it's kind of throwing the app off a little bit. So I don't know if you use this app, if you have weekly payers or bi-monthly payers, just pay attention to that. I feel like the longer the funds have been around, the better this will be at tracking them, because as the funds have consistent dividend dates, it's probably, a little bit more ingrained in the system. That's just my guess. I don't know. But that is one annoying thing that, once in a while you'll get, a missing payment or something will kind of disappear. And then that also throws off your entire annual income, as well as your monthly income and your yield and all of that too, right? So even though BCCC is only a small position, like it's kind of thrown off everything just by a little bit. So luckily that was just a small position for me. Other than that, I like the way that everything's kind of laid out. I like that you get to see the declaration date. You can mark it as paid. And then it kind of shows back here on the home screen. You get to confirm your payments and you see how your dividend growth is charted. And then last up is your portfolio. So you get all the holdings. So with the free version, you get 10 holdings, and you can see them all here, and you can kind of, by the total share, group it by profit or yield, percentage, choose whatever you want. And then you can show if you've sold any, you kind of get, you get to show if you've made changes, made any buys or sells. You can put them all in here and it'll keep track of everything like that. And it really shows nicely. Like you click on the fund, it shows you the dividend yield, the annual payout, the next ex-dividend date. It's got a 1-year dividend growth streak. I don't know if that expense ratio is accurate for USCL. So again, guys, there's some things like this app isn't perfect, right? So you definitely, if you have this app, also, make sure you go to the websites of the fund and do all your due diligence before you, completely rely on just one tool. But I think it's a really good tool, even for the free version. Like as you guys can see here, you get a lot of data, you get a lot of information about some of these ETFs and some of these funds. And I haven't found anything better than this app yet. Like I said, maybe I'll take a shot on Blossom. I've been hearing it's pretty good, but I like how this is laid out. I like how it's in the App Store, or you can go on the website on your desktop. And as I said, the desktop version is probably even better than this. But it's a nice little tool that's easy to use and kind of keep track of your portfolio, different things going on with the funds and the ETFs. And, again, my favorite part is the calendar, but, here you've got your total portfolio mapped out for you, and then you get all your transactions. You can see, enter in your buys and sells if you've had any sells, and, every time you buy more of your same holdings, you can put them in here. Corporate actions, I think, are more for like if you have an individual stock, maybe there's something going on with it, but I've never had to use that. And yeah, so all in all, guys, it's a good way to track your portfolio, especially if you have passive income and dividends. Just makes things very simple. I like how it's easy to use. It's pretty intuitive. It's got a couple settings. I've got the system setting on right now, so I like things a little bit darker in the background, easier on the eyes. But if you want, you can change the lighting on the system settings as well. You got your little goal, and I just like the layout. I think it's really simple and intuitive and easy to use. Nothing too extravagant, which is what I like as well. So if you guys are looking for a new way to track your dividends or keep track of your portfolio, I would suggest at least testing it out. It doesn't cost anything to try it. Let me know in the comments if you know of any other portfolio tools that are maybe better, or if you've used this one and you end up switching to something else. I know there's a few other portfolio trackers out there that are pretty popular that people use. But so far I've been using Snowball Analytics for about 6 months, and I really do enjoy it. I don't see myself switching off of it anytime soon. Like I said, there's a couple things I don't like. I wish you could set like the calendar. I wish you could set this on drip and then see November is going to be a little bit higher and December is a little bit higher because you're dripping everything in, right? But it doesn't really work that way. It just shows as declared, and then you mark it as paid, and then you have your income, and you have to manually enter your buys, right? Which is the only thing that I kind of wish they would change. But other than that, I've been really enjoying this app. Again, very simple and intuitive, which is what I like. Anyways, guys, I hope that this video helped you out. If you're looking for a way to track your portfolio, try out Snowball Analytics. Leave me a comment, leave me a like, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.